But of course, with associated portrayals also comes certain stereotypes that have been associated with Black Greeks. Often inaccurate of the entire organization, the stereotypes about BGLOs are what many people learn first about the organizations. Though as false as they may be, the Black Greeks often play into these personas, such as the Black Barbie doll persona of AKA, or the cold and cocky persona of A5A. Most of all, the organizations are painted in overly glorified, even humorous details.
The Kappas are always going to be dressed nice, they're always dressed professionally, and they're always going to have their red and white canes. That's just a distinction that all Kappas have. As far as the Qs are always going to have gold boots no matter what they have on. They're known to be the dogs, they're always going to have a dog collar, gold boots. That's what their distinction is. AKAs are known to be the pretty girls, so they're always going to have some type of mirror. What's y'all favorite? Yeah. The Alphas, you know, they tie back to the Egyptians. Ice, cold, that's all they are.
But there's more to it than that which is superficial. Other aspects paint a more vivid picture of what it means to be a Black Greek, along with stepping such as chants. They denote pride, and a singular voice culminating in the experience of what it means to wear those letters across your chest, a distinction that everyone must recognize. Check the trash talk at the door.
Oftentimes the stages that that step shows are presented, oftentimes have there's some aspect of dance or contemporary dance, whatever you would see in a nightclub or, you know, at a club or hotspot or something. You always see those elements in. The chanting is still there. And then the recognizable ones, you know, there's always some kind of chant or something that everyone knows, much to the chagrin of our advisor. There was some tension between the AKAs on my campus and other sororities, one in particular. And we did a lot of trash talking. So sometimes for the trash talking aspect, you might need a prop to kind of send the message home. And I don't see as much of that. I'm glad, because it was really kind of a petty way to go to kind of, you know, using your platform to talk bad about other sororities or fraternities.
With the chants, that's more of we mostly telling little bits and pieces of our history, how we feel about it, how we one of the coldest brothers that ever crossed the face of this earth.
Yeah, when you look at some of the parts of it that push that competition, you have guys that'll come out and you get your chants going, where you have your little disses that you say to everybody and everybody throws them back at you. And when it happens at a Greek show, it's normally at a time it's during the break, and next thing you know, everybody's like, oh, did you hear what they just said about so-and-so? And then next thing you know, they break out a chant, and it goes back and forth, and it kind of keeps the show going, because if you've been to a Greek show, sometimes they can run long, so you need that little aspect to keep the push going. Also, when you look back at it, and you know, you have times where you have to think about what, you know how creative a group is by the chants that they come up with, by the types of things that they can put in as far as the disses. But, you know, a lot of people see the dissing part, but also forget that there are things that we do call unity steps, where you'll have a Greek show, and like I know Zeta Phi Beta sorority will come in, they'll do a show where it's completely doing alpha steps, sigma steps, omega steps, and they'll go through it. Then you'll see a fraternity go back and do the AKA steps and the delta steps. So, I mean, as much as we like to challenge each other, we also like to go out there and push and say, yo, we like what you're doing, and so we'll give you, we'll pay our respects to you.
In recent years, a new phenomenon has occurred in non-traditional organizations now getting involved in the stepping game. Ironically, organizations who possibly would have shunned blacks if these were earlier times are now getting a taste of all that comes with the step show scene. Fortunately, times have changed, and both Greeks and non-Greeks are enjoying the new acts.
I think it's a sight to see. I think it's interesting. It's entertainment. I like it. I think it gives them a little taste of African American culture, because it originated from African American people. I think it gives them a little taste of who we are and, what we like to do, what we enjoy versus, the majority population.
Honestly, I don't have a problem with it. Honestly, we worked with Delta Zeta at one point, teaching them a step routine and the show aspect. To me, it's an honor that the individual even asked.
As for the significance of it, I've never actually been taught the history of stepping. I kind of have a general idea of how it originated and things like that. But As for others other than myself and, you know, those who participated in stepping in my own sorority, I think that people see it as like a sense of pride. A lot of times it's a way to get to know like the girls that you might necessarily don't really ever would hang out with. You know, there's like all different types of girls wanted to do step show this year, and I think most certainly it's just a great way to, you know, it's supposed to be meant for like Greek unity with other Greeks, but I think even in our own sorority it increased Greek unity.
Yet still, their involvement has been a thing of controversy. To some naysayers, they question the validity of their involvement in the culture. Most of the new organizations maintain that there is nothing but respect for Black Greeks. Not only is it an opportunity to learn, but also a way to bond.
Those are very, very much different than what ours are. Like their actual talent, and you know, it's much more interesting when they can do a lot more difficult things than we can. They probably just think it's something for us to do to have fun. They probably get a kick out of it, and you know, we might surprise them and maybe even think that we're an embarrassment to something that they take a lot of pride in. But I mean, I think for the most part, they just think it's a fun thing that we like to do.
I'm not completely for it because I feel like with Black letter Greek organizations, that originated back to our roots. That's where we come from. That's our distinction. In my opinion, I think they're trying to take away the whole history behind stepping.
There's nothing wrong with it, number one. I think that we should honor everyone's opportunity. That's the whole idea of being in America. I mean, it's freedom to do just, you know, what you like within reasons. And I think it's a great thing.
I mean, a lot of things that people want to push is diversity. We want to make sure that everybody understands what they're doing. And that's the key thing that, you know, I know a lot of groups stress is like, don't just come out and just do this step and just think it's just for fun. Understand what you're stepping for, understand what you're stepping about.
But despite the idiosyncrasies of the Greek styles, the controversies, smack talk, and stereotypes, stepping is still much more than something Greeks do. It is a rich art form which serves as a side note in the greater story of what it means to be in a Black Greek letter organization. To outsiders, it should be known that other than the entertainment these great organizations display, their true aim is service. In the life of a Black Greek, the fun of stepping has to stop somewhere in order to ascend to a higher calling to the organization on a graduate level.
I love it to death. I mean, the aspect of being like honestly a celebrity on campus locally. Also the love of just doing service and being in the forefront and just leading, being a Black student leader on your campus. Great. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I think that Greek life has a lot to offer students, especially when it's balanced, when you have a balance between the academic rigor and then the public interest, the public service kinds of activities. When there's a balance, it's awesome. And I think that once people get a taste of that, they never want to be idle in their life with regard to public service.
I think once an individual matures, at what level of maturity or age do they feel that I don't want to do this anymore, I don't need to be out here doing this anymore? Because a person really needs to be in great physical condition to step. It may look like a 15-minute show, but so much practice goes into it, and since it's bang, 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 that 15 minutes is a lot of work. And you can see some folks really huffing and puffing toward the end of it. So it just depends upon your physical condition, your mind, your maturity level as to whether or not you still want to be out there. The stepping is just one small component. It's the easiest part, probably, of being a member of the organization. But there's so much more that once you become a member of it, then stepping becomes a minute part of it. But it's a fun part. And with everything, we need to have some type of fun to go along with it. And we enjoy it even when we don't step, hung up our boots, so to speak. We still enjoy a good step competition just watching it, even if it's just among groups of ourselves.